Hello, Ripon Progressive. I understand that you guys have posted some questions, and I'm going to address those questions for you. So here we go. Question number one: what accomplishments have you done on behalf of the Ripon residents? Well, during my tenure at the Ripon Chamber of Commerce, I started the Chamber nonprofit. I also started the Youth Leadership Academy, which was working with juniors and seniors to once a month get them out there and introduce them to different industries that they might be interested in and those jobs within those industries. I also started Brews and Bites event along with the Christmas light parade that happens every December. And even the scarecrow contest that's going on right now. So anything that would be a fun community event for families, and I'm all about that. So the other thing is for 3 years, Dean Euchre and I would go out and we would raise the funds through sponsorships for the 4th of July. Every 4th of July, my family, myself, my husband, and my daughter, we did setup, we did cleanup. We were out there the whole time working and making sure that everything went off. And it was important to me to do that for the community. The chamber staff did not participate in that. That was pretty much me and my family and Dean Euchre. And as it grew, I tried to get more people involved, and we did have some great volunteers, parking and so forth, that did help out. But it was people coming together, and it was a community event that I still think is very important for Ripon to have. But my husband climbed that 60-foot tree that was also out there at Veterans Park when we first moved here. We lit that up as the Christmas tree and lit up Veterans Park as something different. And I think everybody loved it. We called it the Big Blob, but it was fun, and you could see it from everywhere. So it kind of put Ripon on the map for Christmas. But that was another thing that I did. And then I'm also involved in the Ripon Community Fund, and we help raise money for people or families in need during crisis and other things. And that's also very important. We've done golf tournaments to raise money for Camp Taylor, and that is an organization that I think is also so important. And the things that that organization does for kids, it's amazing. If you don't know anything about it, look it up. But let's see, what else have I done? I've spent the last 2 terms on the Ripon Consolidated Fire Board, and I'm also on the board for the Sober Grad. So there's quite a few things that I have done here in Ripon, and I'm privileged to do those things. I love it. I love being involved and giving back, and so a big part of my life is volunteering. Do I support a Ripon-based ACE train? I've been on the fence about this because I didn't know how much funding it was going to take, what was going to happen. But at this point, I do support it. I think that if the train's coming in and they're using grant funding or federal funding to build the station, then we need to jump on the opportunity as we have it. I think that ACE riders, as they're getting on the train, maybe they'll grab coffee or breakfast, or maybe when they're getting off the train, they can grab dinner before they go home or meet their families downtown. I think that would be great for our businesses downtown. Where they're putting the train is also another area. I think the location is perfect for where the train is going to be, the train station is going to be built. So I hope that answered that question. Question, I think number 3, how will you help fund the second fire station? Do you believe that we need staffing for the second department? Well, this has been a very controversial item, and I do believe that Station 3 needs staffing. New housing developments have gone in over by Parkview, over by Mislin. Cornerstone is pretty new where the fire station is. We have most of the new development for the future is all going out that way off River Road, and we have the apartments there. I mean, all that is new. And I think having an ambulance is very important in our town. Not a lot of cities have them. They do contract out for ambulance service. So the fact that we have our own and is prioritized here in Ripon is really important. And we want to see that stay. We have a huge elderly population with Bethany Home. And I guess even age doesn't really matter, because if something happened to one of my family members, I would want the ambulance here as soon as they could be here. So to answer your question, how would they fund that? Measure A was a good try. I think that the intentions there were right, but the way it was written was not right and needs to be rewritten before it goes back on the ballot. The other option would be to partner with the city, as the Ripon Consolidated Fire is not part of the city. So they would need to partner and do a sales tax for emergency services. And so that might be another option. But as we grow, I think it becomes more and more important. The other question was, what plans does the city have to revitalize the Ripon area? If none, what are some areas that they have identified in the area that need revitalized? I don't know if the city is looking at revitalizing this area. At one point, they came up with a plan called the North Point Plan. This plan encompassed like a tech center, some high-density housing, along with retail and commercial development. But I don't know if that specific area of Ripon is included in that. But, for some ideas of what that area could do for beautification projects, maybe the city could look at doing kind of a low-cost loan or low-interest loan for homeowners in that area that they could apply if they were going to use it to kind of help, I guess, on their landscape or improve home improvements or something like that. But so there's a couple things that they could do. And then also the city, they've got this Stockton project that they're going to be putting pavers down over on Stockton. Maybe they need to look at repairing the roads over in the Ripon area, or doing pavers over in that area, or sidewalk improvements and repairs, and maybe landscape repairs on public areas. All that definitely benefits the city and the surrounding area. So maybe that's a project that they need to look into. Another question is, if you received $1 million grant to use for the city, what would you do with it? Well, being pro-business and coming from a chamber background in economic development, I would probably use it to build out downtown. I would convert the alleyways to create patio dining areas to preserve the downtown parking that we currently do have. Use it as a connectivity for pedestrians and maybe a green and sustainable infrastructure. Alleyways can serve as beautiful and vital pedestrian passageways. If you go to other countries, you'll see this all over. So what we need to do is expand downtown into more than just one main street. We also need to look at being creative in producing more parking and bringing in the right businesses that will help sustain our downtown businesses that we currently have. So I think building on downtown. Let's expand downtown and do some fun things. Like I said, permanent outdoor dining and some lighted up alleys and make it really nice down there where people can hang out and I don't know, meet with friends and do things and socialize. So those things are important to me. How should Ripon City Council represent those areas of the town that don't have council members living in them? Well, I've heard over and over, you've got your city council members, most of them live by each other. You also have our candidates that we all probably live a couple blocks from each other. So, but Ripon is so small that I don't think it really matters where your council people live. I think they're elected to represent the constituents, your community members, and should be accessible. Your council people should be out at events. They should be participating in things. They should have maybe office hours that are set so people don't feel they're being intrusive when they call them or want to talk or bring up a problem. I know Leo made a comment that people should bring their problems to city council. That's not true. These problems need to be brought up before city council. You can't even get anything on the agenda at city council. So, these elected officials should be accessible and should be having conversations. They should know what's going on in their city, And I can tell you that probably the majority of them don't. There's very few that do. So I think it's really important, the whole communication and figuring out, how these people are going to communicate with their constituents and know what's going on, and not just on a Tuesday night once a month when they go to a city council meeting. I think and I hope that I have answered all your questions. If I haven't, you can reach me by phone, 209-620-6859. You can go to my website. You can go to my Facebook page. My website is spade for the number 4 Ripon .com. And then I think everybody has my Facebook page. But anyway, I welcome the questions. Again, I think that it's so important to be able to communicate. Sometimes I feel like I'm going down a rabbit hole in some of these conversations because I don't know if people are going to, end up hating me or tearing up my signs. But anyway, I am who I am, and my heart is here. I want to see nothing but good happen in Ripon. This is where my family is. And I have nothing to gain from any of this. I truly am doing this because I care, and because I think that it's important that our residents have a voice on that council. And that's just me. So I am here to do whatever I can to help. And hopefully on November 3rd, you think of Tamara Spade when you're voting. And I appreciate everyone. And hopefully I answered all your questions. Thank you so much.